What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Overachievers Gaming Podcast. I am your host, Vash. Dami is sore or not here, or he got hit by a bus, or by a bus, I mean by another guy on a mat yesterday on our Saturday. We're recording Sunday. So with us this week is ChefCrondo, back from our MSF Insider edition of our podcast. If you haven't checked that episode out, go check it out now. It's pretty cool. But Chef is with us this week to talk all things video games because in that episode we learned that he also loves video games as much as we do. So we invited him back to come be a part of our regular scheduled podcast. What's up, Chef?
Yes, sir. What's going on, man?
Not much. Just waking up a little too late this morning. I think I woke up at like 8:58, and when we said we were going to do this at 9, and you're like, "Hey, I'm ready to go." I'm like, shit.
Nice.
Getting some coffee. I'll be right there.
Speaking of gaming, I was up early because I stayed up late playing Bloodborne, and I woke up wanting to play it before we started today.
Oh, that's awesome. What do you think about Bloodborne? I love that game.
I think it's so. Dark Souls 2, I've started 2 months ago, and that's the first Soulsborne game I ever played in my life, and I love it. Right, like going up there, top 5 games I ever played in my life. But Bloodborne is it's like Dark Souls on crack. With amazing art style, and it's gory, it's eerie, it's creepy, it's awesome, dude. I can't wait to play more of it.
Yeah, and it's a PlayStation exclusive. Like, you can't get it anywhere else.
Yeah, and dude, the thing I think is great about this is you got all these blockbuster titles coming out. They're $60. Like, for example, I'm gonna throw Anthem out there because Anthem's one of the most disappointing games I've spent $60 on in my life, or Fallout 76, and I think about that, and then I think about how I spent $18 on Dark Souls Scholar of the First Sin, and I've I've already logged in like 60, 70 hours on it, and I've still got more to go. And I don't know. It's just indicative of quality gaming.
Yeah, it's crazy how that all works, and especially since Dark Souls has been out for 10 years at this point, or that saga has started. It's crazy how that it spawned a thing. And I know we talked about it in a previous episode about the Surge. I don't know if you've ever played the Surge, but the Surge is like it's like a techno, like a tech version of Dark Souls, in which you're a guy who's in like a mech suit, kind of like Exo Squad from back in the day, and you're fighting other people, in that Dark Souls style. But the cool thing about the Surge is everyone's got armor, and you can find different armor off of different people, but you can target people's limbs, their chest piece, their arm, their leg, their head, their weapon. If you want that weapon or that armor piece, you just have to target it, attack it, and it'll drop. You can cut it off and take the armor piece and go. And they just came out with the Surge 2, and I'm very excited to play that. But as we are adults, well, some of us are adults. I'm an adult. I don't know about yourself.
No, I'm not an adult.
I don't have time to play video games, so right now I'm just when we get into what we're playing section, we'll talk about that. So I'm a little bit behind on the what's new and everything like that, but I'm very much looking forward to the Surge 2, and I'll probably stream that a bit because that's one of my favorite games. I love it's the Soul series, but fuck Sekiro.
So I have a buddy of mine. He has not played a single one, and I was telling him about Dark Souls. So I'm like, yeah, go out and try Dark Souls 1 or 2 maybe. And he goes out and buys Sekiro. I'm like, dude, you literally bought the hardest one of the entire series, the most fast-paced technical one. And yeah, I don't know. I've actually heard that Sekiro was not as good as people thought it was going to be. The gameplay was good, but the replayability of it is not good. I don't know. I guess the general speedrunning community does not like it, which is weird to me.
I guess if your friend's starting off at that game, it's probably better off because that is a totally different mechanics than the rest of the Dark Souls series, because it wants you to run up, be engaged in your enemies, and parry. I could not for the life of me parry. I was used to you're used to blocking or dodge rolling.
Right.
They don't like you to dodge roll in that game. But after you play 10 years of a game style and you're used to it, it becomes you just become in that, set in that way of doing it. It's just interesting. But although Bloodborne is different because you parry with the pistol, which is cool, which is pretty rad. I like that concept a lot. So I'm curious for Dark Souls, or I'm sorry, Bloodborne 2 when that's coming out.
I gotta actually check this game out because it looks really I'm looking at pictures of it, and it looks like everything I wanted Anthem to be.
Yeah, well, it had some. It was on. It was free for PlayStation Plus a while back, so I don't know if it still is. But I know
What,
they
the
all
Surge?
the Surge, yeah, because they do those. Here's your monthly free games to play that you can
Right.
download. So it
That's how
did
I got
that eventually.
Bloodborne.
Yeah, so they do that occasionally. I don't know if it's ever going to come back to that since it was already there, but
Ironically, I've had Bloodborne on my PlayStation for like I think 2 years, and I never even realized what it is. And then yesterday, I was kind of sitting there and I was bored, and I'm like, oh, let me just scroll through my library. I have Bloodborne. Like, I gotta try this out real quick.
yeah, and then you're like, oh my god, here's the next like month of my
Oh
life.
my god, it's 2 in the morning. What just happened?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're diving into that. I'm very excited for your journey into Bloodborne. It's such a good game, but man, fuck those cataclysms or catacombs or whatever the hell they're called. They're just it's later on. Once you beat the story, you can go through and like they have like a randomly generated dungeons and whatnot.
Do
And
they
one of the
really?
yeah, and then
Oh, that's
one of the
exciting.
trophies is to beat it like on the hardest difficulty level, like without dying all the way through. And there's one portion that's like 21 levels or something like that. You have to do it. And I did it, but my God, it was the worst experience of my
That's
life. I hated
exciting.
it.
That's
But
very exciting. I am a big fan of game modes like that. Once you beat the game, because that's like the whole thing about replayability that I was
yeah.
saying earlier, is that when you, I can think back. Do you ever play Parasite Eve on
Oh yeah,
PlayStation
I
One?
love Parasite Eve. I hope they remaster that.
I do too. So one of the things as a kid that I loved about Parasite Eve was the Chrysler Building, like climbing
Hmm.
from one to floor 100 and getting to the top. Like that was really difficult, and it requires you to. I mean, you can play through it during the regular game, but like you go through, you beat the game, and it's like, well, what do I do now? Well, go play through it again and climb through the tower. Another game I played as a kid, Lufia 2, Rise of the Sinistrals. You ever heard of that one?
I have not
So
heard of
there's
that.
this one game mode in there called the Ancient Cave, and it's actually a really big thing in speedrunning, I guess, which is kind of odd to me. But you start off with your 4 characters at level 1, and there's like you climb all the way down, and there's monsters as you go, and you get items, spells, all these things, and certain things you can take outside. I've always loved game modes where it makes you do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
And now that you just told me that Bloodborne has that, I'm like super duper inclined to push through to that.
Yeah, it's the end game mode. I forget what it's called, but it's like you'll know when you get there because it's I think it's one of the main areas where like you have like the headstones and that goes up to like your little hut that you have.
Ah,
Um,
yes, yes,
you
yeah,
can then essentially like load into it that way. So
cool, very exciting.
right, but there's a lot talk about exciting stuff. There's a lot of
Yes.
stuff that came out and happened. We'll scroll through it for very briefly. Um, Not very briefly, but anyway. So one of the things that I'm excited for, being more of a mobile gamer lately, is the idea of Apple Arcade. And Apple Arcade is live right now, and you can get a free month of it, but otherwise it's $5 a month. It's $4.99, and I've played probably about maybe a dozen of the games that have come out. And I gotta say, man, if this is the future of gaming for mobile games, I'm very excited for it. I don't know if you've got a chance to try it out. I don't know if you have
I
an
have
Apple
not. Can you give me
device
a
or anything.
Can you give me a brief explanation of like what kind of games you get through that?
So the main games that I've played are there's a couple strategy games which I really like, kind of like XCOM style.
Mm.
One called what is it called? It's called like starts with a D. I'm just scrubbing through it real quick. Nope, not a D. Overland. It's kind of like a XCOM style with like some really highly produced art styles. There's Spaceland, which is also kind of like a XCOM style, turn-based game. Sonic Racing. Oh wait, that's not it. I don't think. I think that might have been just a racing thing. But the two games I want to talk about that are very interesting is Hot Lava, which is like the floor is lava and you have to jump
Oh,
over,
I did see this. Okay.
and Ocean Horn Tune, or I'm sorry, Ocean Horn 2. These are two games that are produced and released via the arcade, and it's just like the production value is insane. Like
Yes.
it feels like I mean, obviously it's being backed by Apple and whatnot, because they're getting a cut of the proceeds or being paid in some way. Actually, I'm curious to see how that works from a business model perspective. Like if you're part of Apple's, arcade, like how you make money doing that. That's a discussion for another time. But
That's actually a really good point. I wonder how they monetize that. Like, is
I
it on a
wonder,
basis of downloads or like time people are logged into your game, or if they just like pay you a flat fee?
yeah, I'm curious if like Apple, hires you to make a game for their Apple Arcade, and then they'll pay you however many fee or whatever, and then maybe there's a back end thing like, hey, if you get 1 million downloads, like you get an extra $100,000. I don't know how that works, but just interesting. But yeah, but the games are beautiful, and I recently just picked up the new iPhone 11 Pro Max. God, that's such a mouthful to say, and mainly just because I need the latest and greatest, especially with work. But so it runs. All these games are running very smoothly, and they're running very well. There's no frame rate hiccups or anything like that. But I love the variety that you have access to. So with like hot lava, you're essentially jumping over different, the floor is lava kind of thing. So like starts off at like, you're looking in a room, and all of a sudden like this animation of like lava coming into the room takes over, and then you have to hop across to different things. You can play it on your phone, like with the actual on-screen controls. But the best way to play it, I found, is either with a MIFI controller, an MFI controller, or you can actually hook up your PlayStation controller directly to your iPhone or iPad now with iOS 13.
Wow, can
So
you really?
yes, you can. You can pair it now, and it's great because you can now remote play to your PlayStation through your iPad or iPhone with
No
your
way.
PlayStation controller. Yes, it's one of my favorite things to do, and
You
I
blow my
love
mind.
love rubbing it in Dom's face because he's Xbox community. So
I would be playing Bloodborne from my office.
yeah, you just need a good Wi-Fi system. You just need a good Wi-Fi connection. You'll be good to go. You don't need all you need is 5 up, 5 down, which is nothing. So it's great.
Well, you may have just created the demise of my professional adult career.
Well, just be vigilant, I guess. Get your work done, and if you're waiting for something to compile, that's like takes 20 minutes. There you go. You can get one run in of a dungeon or something like that. But I I'm very I think so. Essentially, you get a 1 month subscription for free. They'll give you a chance to try it out, so you can download as many games as you want to try it out and see how it plays. I am very excited for this. I think that this is a step in the right direction, especially and we've talked about this on our MSF Insider segment about the greed that is some of these companies are just throwing offers in your face left and right,
Hmm.
which I understand. They got to make money somehow, but like this, I think is a breath of fresh air because there's no in-app transactions whatsoever. Like there's none. There's no microtransactions. There's none of that stuff. Like you download the game, you play the game, and you can take it offline if you want to or not. Like you don't have to worry about like being connected to the internet. They're not going to take your information. It's just wholesome mobile gaming, and I'm in full support of it. And like
I'm a
I
huge
will,
fan of that, man.
yeah, I will keep my Apple Arcade subscription because it's $5 a month, and I've spent way more than that on Marvel Strike Force. So why not? I'll support Apple in this endeavor.
I'm a fan of anything that kind of puts the microtransaction industry, we'll call it, in their place, so to say. I just feel like uh, it's a long time coming that they kind of got regulated. I want to say, I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
it's kind of out of control. Like every company comes up with these games, and you and I grew up in a time period where you spend X amount of dollars, you get a quality game, you get tons of hours out of it, which is what you're saying about the Apple Arcade is that you're
yeah,
paying a flat rate. I mean, it's $5 a month, but whatever, it's $5.
$60 a year. Let's put it
Okay,
that way.
right. And then how? So like you think you figure you spend, I don't know, plenty of time using that subscription. So, and I
Yeah.
will say that Floor's Lava game is really cool. I was watching people stream that the other day on Twitch, and it looked really cool.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try see about streaming some more mobile games, just because I have an iPad Pro in which I can, with an HDMI adapter, it'll go into my PC, so you can like just capture it that way. So kind of like how I was doing with capturing my PlayStation when streaming. So I know that might be fun to kind of get into these different mobile games and talking about them and seeing them and showing them to the world. Because honestly, for like $5 a month or $60 a year, which is insane to me. That's the price of one game or one offer on Marvel Strike Force
Yeah,
for a
right.
year of game
You
for a
get like
year of gaming.
one
Yeah,
character for a year of gaming.
for 50 shards of a character.
For people that really poured their time and interest into a game, right? And you can tell, I feel like in indie games, you can really feel like people give more of a shit about it than, some of these other gaming companies. I'll leave that for people to make their own assumptions or anything, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's I don't know. I feel like I'm with you in that like I support anyone who's trying to knock out the microtransaction world, even though it is such a big industry.
It's
To
huge. Where did it come from, man?
I honestly don't know. I think it may have started with the mobile gaming world because I know that console gaming started with it about 7 years ago or something like that. I wonder what's the very first game to start with
I mean,
microtransactions.
I feel like in my head, right, when we say this, the first game that comes to mind is Hearthstone, because Hearthstone is one of the first platform or games that came from PC and made it over to mobile. I know they're not the first one, but for me, like Hearthstone, if I were gonna buy packs, right, to me, I don't know, like even still, that seems less scummy than buying characters on something like Star Wars or Marvel or something like that. I don't know. Either like Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone, those two just like didn't rub me the wrong way, but they kind of seem like they might be two of the first adaptations of that, since they are like trading card games.
Yeah, so it started back in 2006. Is what it's looking like,
Wow.
and the game that did it was Oblivion.
What?
Yeah, you could buy horse armor,
Like like Elder Scrolls?
like Elder Scrolls. Apparently, that was the very first one, and then the trio that started it immediately after that was Forza Motorsports 7, Middle Earth: Shadow of War, and Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Oh wait, and
Wait,
are all three of those EA games?
they are EA games. So EA has started this trend,
Those bastards.
and it's just completely
Wait, and if I'm not
messed up.
mistaken, weren't they the ones that kind of like took it way overboard as
Yeah,
well?
I think so.
Yeah,
They just want. It's
go
like
figure.
that's the EA comment for Battlefront 2 was like one of the most downvoted comments ever
Yes,
on Reddit.
I
So
remember that. I remember that.
yeah,
That
so
post had
apparently.
like I think like a 500,000 downvotes or something like that.
Yeah, something crazy. Yeah, so this article from usgamer.net says Bethesda was the first third-party publisher to jump in on Microsoft's idea with the microtransactions in Xbox. In April of 2006, it released the first of its planned expansions content for Oblivion. The release was the infamous Horse Armor Pack for 200 Microsoft points for $2.50 on Xbox 360 or $2 on PC. Players could purchase alternate armor sets for their in-game steed. Fans were previously fine with the idea of microtransactions, but were absolutely shocked for the pricing of the horse armor. In response, Bethesda simply moved forward with its plan, releasing new themed horses on new dungeons and new spells. Fuck you, Bethesda. That's
You
not cool, bro.
bastards.
I had no idea it was
I
Bethesda,
didn't either, man. Like
and I love Bethesda
I
games, and
do
I was just like,
too.
this is all coming from them. I thought it was EA was the main ones to really kind of
Damn
like
it,
shove it down
Bethesda.
their throats, but
This is why we can't have nice things.
exactly. And you learn something new every day. I guess I'm not going to
Seriously.
buy any more Bethesda games. Just kidding. I'm going to buy
Wait.
Bethesda games.
Oh wait, hold on, wait. I'll go along with that. But wait, is Elder Scrolls 5 going to be on or well, was Skyrim 5 technically?
Technically, Skyrim was 5, yeah,
Yeah, so Elder Scrolls 6, is that going to be a Bethesda game?
probably. I mean, I'll still
I'll
buy
start after that one.
yeah, I'll still buy the games, but I'm not buying the
I'm not
microtransactions.
buying a horse saddle, damn it.
Yeah, the only time I've ever bought a microtransactions in a game for a boost was in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, because there's a perk that you could buy for $2 that doubled the amount of experience you got throughout the entire life of the game. I was like, for $2,
man.
I'll buy that
That's
because
a microtransaction.
yeah,
$24.99 for something is not micro. That's
no, that's not microtransactions. But either way, so I'm going back with the Apple Arcade.
yeah,
I'm just
yeah, yeah.
I'm very excited for it. So,
I'm
but
definitely
yeah,
gonna check it out.
yeah, check it out. You get a free month of it, and
I
you
mean,
can
I do have
download
an
as many games
iPhone,
as you.
so I don't know why I don't.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just helping give a little bit more credence towards that style of game making, and it just helps indie developers. And the games are fun. Like, there's a ton of awesome games on there. If you've never played Cat Quest,
Oh,
or
Cat Quest is on there.
Cat Quest 2 is on the Apple Arcade.
Oh, I will say I'm a cat guy. I mean, I love animals, but I'm a cat dude, and I loved Cat Quest. Like that game was like, my ex girlfriend got it one day, and she started playing. I'm like, what is this you're playing? It's like, it's called Cat Quest. Like, this is the most adorable game I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like,
I love those games that was like start to finish. You can play it and not have to worry about like, being connected to the internet. You can just play it
yes.
wherever. Like, especially being in New York for 10 years, we would just be like on the subway and you're stuck in the subway and you can't do anything because you don't
Right.
have cell phone service. Because cell phone service, believe it or not, didn't come to the subways until like 3 years ago.
I
So
can see that. I mean, probably a
that's
lot
a
of people
pretty
down there play like Switch and Game Boy Advance and stuff like that, right?
yeah, exactly. And of course, I got to switch after I moved out of New York. But either way,
Mm.
I want to talk a little bit about Borderlands 3 and my impressions with it so far. I know in the last episode, if you haven't heard it, Dom hates Borderlands, so we didn't really get a chance to talk about it much because he went off on a rant about why he hates Borderlands so much.
Why does he hate it so much? Can you give me like a TLDR?
Because he's dumb. That's why.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because he's getting thrown to mats and getting choked out today, so that's why.
I will say, I have one complaint about the series. I love Borderlands 1 and 2. Don't get me wrong. But my biggest problem is that when I watched the previews and the trailers, it looked like Borderlands 2.3. I don't know. It just
That's what
like
you said too.
but my best friend got it, and so this is a good story about gaming, right? My best friend got it for his birthday a couple days ago, and his girlfriend they game together, right? But she's kind of like picky about what she plays, and she hates first person shooters. But he convinced her to play with him, and the two of them, I have like my World of Warcraft leveling partner has disappeared on me because like she's like Josh, like Michael's mine tonight. Like we're playing Borderlands tonight, and so like there's an example of like it's a good game for like a couple. You know what I mean? Like they're having a lot of fun with it. She gets to advance a character. He's teaching her how to like kind of play an RPG. So I think that's pretty cool, And there are not a lot of games out there that are like that, in my opinion.
Yeah, my wife and I played Borderlands 2 together. Then I was gonna introduce her to Borderlands 3, but I was playing it last night after we got home from an Oktoberfest event here in Connecticut. But I was literally about to say, "Hey, would you like to play this game with me? It seems like something fun we could play." As she literally says, "Well, this might be my least favorite game you've ever played." I'm like, "Why?" Because the thing about like my wife is a saint. She lets me play video games. She'll sit next to me and watch me play video games, and she's
that's a good woman.
About it.
It's a good woman.
Like she makes comments based on like how the game sounds, and so like she will not listen. She will not sit there and let me play Diablo 3 because of repetitiveness.
Dude, that's so funny that you just said Diablo 3 of all the games, because my ex-girlfriend, she used to shit on that game when I would play it. Like that's hilarious.
Because it would just be like, it's like I cannot cast a spell. I cannot cast a spell. I cannot cast a spell. Out of mana. Out of mana. Out of mana. She's like, can you get
some mana, damn it?
Yeah, I mean, it happened last night where she was just like, there's like one of the boss fights I was doing in Borderlands was just like he was just screaming at the top of his lungs because he's on one of my guns had shock damage and he's vulnerable to shock damage, and so he's just screaming. She's like, can you kill this guy faster, please? The screaming is getting out of control. So
sure
I was literally about to say, I was like, literally, he's like, you want to play this game with me? I was literally about to say that when she said those words to me. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm not going to ask her to play this game. I'll play this by myself.
Yeah.
But I think it's different when you're playing the game than when you're observing a game, because when you're playing the game, you're in it.
So tell me something. What would you say is the striking, like maybe pros and cons of 3 to like 1 and 2?
So, I mean, I played a lot of 2. I played 2 in VR because they released that.
2 is the shit.
2 is the shit. I really liked 2. My favorite in 2 was the Necromancer, so I went with the Gunner this time around.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they offered a lot of quality of life improvements. The main thing for me is like you don't have to press and hold square when you open a loot. It just opens and instantly like teleports to you, which is great. So you can just keep running around and opening things. It just makes it a little bit easier.
Oh, that's actually amazing, dude. Because that's a really obnoxious thing you had to do because there's so many items to pick up in Borderlands.
Yeah. So, and then if you had nothing to pick up, like no ammo increases, you're just sitting there like, what do I do? I just can't.
Why won't it pick up?
But I mean, I'm probably about 12 hours into the story. The storyline's okay. I mean, it's more Borderlands. If you love Borderlands, it's just more of it. And there's a lot of places to go. There's multiple different planets to go to see. There's a pretty cool hub of that you're on a spaceship. That's your main hub that you can go around and see. More of the same characters. The writing's more of the same. And that was Dom's biggest issue. It's just like, why would I pay $60 for this for more of the same story? It's like, well, that's what people wanted. They wanted more of the same, but in a new environments and new guns and new all sorts of stuff. So the guns are different. Like the enemies you face are actually really hard. Like I've come across a couple boss fights where I just could not finish it. And I had to go level up and then come back to finish it, which is unusual for me because I can normally get through bosses in a first person shooter. But it was
That's cool
yeah,
though. That's cool
yeah,
because I felt like the game was kind of easy, to be honest. 1 and
yeah.
2.
So one is just 1, 2, and the prequel. I think were they just had their own style to it. And 3 definitely has its own style to it, but it's just more Borderlands, which it was, like I said, it was Dom's main complaint. He's just like, well, it's nothing. It's really nothing new. It's just more of the same. Which I would before when we talked about it 2 weeks ago, or I'm sorry, a month ago, we talked about, or no, it was 2 weeks ago. And we talked about how, I only had maybe like 4 hours in the game. So I really, you really get that first impression of what Borderlands is like. But it really feels like he was accurate in his description of it. It's still more of the same.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the RPG first person aspect of it. So we'll see what happens with it.
I say that there's different kinds of gamers out there. Some people want that same experience. They just want a new version of it. I mean, I can think of certain games like that. You just like you keep playing it and you don't want it to end. And that's kind of the allure of Borderlands. Like the fans of the series are kind of like diehard about it. And they love the art. I think the art style of the game is more what really draws a lot of attention to itself because it's like that steampunk kind of vibe.
Yeah, with a little bit of cell shading to it.
Yeah. So
I mean, they leaned on that heavy for the very first one because of just the graphical intensity of the game. So that's why they went that route instead of a a little bit more realistic shooter. But I think that's become its call sign essentially. Is that whole like cell shaded first person shooter kind of game. So, but I don't know. It's interesting right now. I think I'm like level 15 or 16 in my character. So I know level 50 is the max. So haven't gotten all the way there, but I see all my friends who are leveling up and doing things, which I actually think is actually pretty cool. So if you have friends on the PlayStation and they're playing the game, you see their progress pop up, like when they hit level ups or if they get like the little achievements of like, hey, like my buddy Wes is just like, hey, Wes has gotten he's opened 1,000 loot boxes, and you see the progress as it pops up for them. So it's cool. It's little things like that that kind of make you want to like, oh, okay, maybe I'm going to step it up a bit. I'm going to try to get more headshots with my pistol. So
are they trying to essentially boost the online experience, I guess, or
I don't know.
try to push people to do a little multiplayer kind of action?
Yeah, I think so.
Co-op?
But it's just I like that idea because it's kind of like you can see where your friends are at, in the game and the progress. It's a nice little social thing. It's not intrusive. You can turn it off if you want to, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's not like obnoxious.
Yeah, it's not obnoxious, like but it's just a nice little nod to say, oh, like, my friend's kind of, playing, he's doing this. He just killed this really unique character. That's cool. I was like, maybe I'll, hop in with him. Or like even like I've hopped in with a friend who was just playing, and I was like, oh, hey, you're level 3, I'm level 3. Let's hop in together. That kind of thing. I didn't even notice like he's like my buddy Andrew hit level 3 when we first started. I was like, oh, hey, you're playing, I'm playing. Let's play together. I didn't know you had this game. So it's stuff like that. That's kind of cool. But excited to play more of it. I'm going to play a little bit more of it today. But I also just got in the mail World War Z from GameFly, so I'm excited to give that a try. So
World War Z, interesting.
It's kind of like what was that game way back when? It was like the zombie game that you were playing. It's like a Valve game. It's 4 characters that stay alive. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
like Left 4 Dead.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
It's kind of like that, but a newer take on it. And I've been wanting to play it for a while. And I've just finished up Onimusha Remastered, so I sent back my
Onimusha.
Yeah, man, that game is awesome. I love that game. I love that they're doing all these remasters, but man, it's even the remaster is a little harsh. It's a little not so great.
I could see that. Yeah, but I mean that's the thing. They have to do that though, right? Like because they can't make it. Oh, dude, I'm gonna bring up a random remake. Resident Evil 2 remake, best one I've ever played of any remake in my life,
it's
hands
fantastic.
down. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go.
No, they took one of my all-time favorite games and just made it better.
Yeah,
Which, I mean, how often does that happen, right? Like, how most of the time they make the game shitty. Like, look at, I don't know, like a sequel like Final Fantasy X2, or I mean that's a very random one, but like sometimes most of the time they take these really great games that you have and they screw them up, or they like add features to it, or they got to like try to make it harder. Dude, Resident Evil 2 remake, amazing, dude, straight up amazing. I
yeah.
can't think of anything negative about the game.
My favorite part about that game. Did you play with headphones or did you play
I
with?
did, yeah, no, I did with the lights off too. Scared the shit out of me the
Jesus
first time I
Christ.
played it through, dude.
The my favorite game, my favorite gaming moment from Resident Evil 2 was when when Mr. X is following you around, and I played it in my home theater, so I had like all the speakers going on, and you just
Oh
hear him
shit, dude,
walking
yes,
around
the
after you,
creaking,
and you're
right?
like, where the fuck is he?
The
What? Oh my
creaking of the
god!
footsteps, it's so scary, man. Or even like when you're like coming around a corner and you don't, all you have is your pistol and a flash. That's why I had to play in the dark. But you're sitting there, you only have a pistol and a flashlight, and you turn the corner, there's something there, you're like, oh shit. Like that is literally right there. It's kind of terrifying, you know?
Yeah, it was. It's probably one of the best gaming experiences I've had. I need to go back and finish Claire's side. So I only finished Leon's side, and then I had to stop it, and then stop and continue on. I was gonna finish all the other games I had now, but now that I'm working until April, I have to wait until I'm done with my TV show, and then I'll check into
But
that
isn't
stuff.
that, it comes and goes.
Yeah. So there's two.
Adulting is fun.
Adulting is fun and frustrating at the same time. So
Yeah.
there's a bunch of different games coming out that I'm looking forward to specifically, or there's a couple that are out now that I'm looking forward to playing. But I want to get your take on things, Chef, about I know we had talked briefly about the Surge and how you've never played it before, but the Surge 2 is out, and that is a continuation of the Dark Souls type game. I'm actually surprised they made a Surge 2 because I didn't hear so great things about the Surge. I mean, I finished the Surge, but I loved it. I just didn't think it performed well in the community, and I didn't realize that they were making a second one. And I'm very happy that they made a second one because it is a fresh take on that perspective, kind of like a sci-fi version of Dark Souls. So I'm curious to see what is that, how that plays and all that stuff. So if you like, and we talked about this before in a couple episodes before, but if you like the Surge, you like Dark Souls, it should be right up your alley of that. But I'm curious to see the storyline because they kind of closed it off at the end of the Surge because that's why I thought it was only going to be one. But it's very, very exciting to see that they're continuing this series, and I hope they make more of them. So,
I mean, I'm reading the reviews right now, and it's kind of funny because a lot of the people have like a common thing where they're saying that the game is difficult and frustrating, but you just can't stop playing it once you start.
yeah,
Which is kind of like a Dark Souls. It sounds like Dark Souls to me.
I mean that is Dark Souls, and so that's
Is it
what
made by
is.
FromSoft? Who's it made by? I'm
It
looking at
is
it right
not
now.
made from FromSoft. It's made by somebody else. Which is why I played a demo of it on my PC when it first was in pre-alpha or something like that, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I like this style, and then not realizing it was a Falls game, like a Falls game, a Dark Souls.
A
Dark
Souls
Falls is a
game?
totally
Yeah.
different game. Dark Falls, a MMO I used to play back in the day, but it's very I'm looking forward to playing it. So
I am too, actually, because it says that um, with the Surge 2, they went really in depth with character leveling and character design, which is kind of one of the things I like the most about the Soulsborne games is that they're more of an RPG game than I think a lot of RPG games are these days. Because a lot of RPG games are very linear, but these games are not linear at all. Like you can go
yeah,
whatever way you want, and you can level your characters whatever way you want, and that's to me that's I haven't had a real RPG game in a while because the last one I feel like I really played was Skyrim, and it's been forever since we've had like uh, that real RPG experience.
yeah. I mean, my favorite game series of all time is the Assassin's Creed series,
Oh, that was
and
good.
so Odyssey. I think I put 120 hours into Odyssey, and that was before the first expansion came out. So I haven't touched the game since the expansion came out. Just because I've been trying to catch up with all these other games and play it. Because my thing is, once I get into the Assassin's Creed world, like man, I'm like you with Dark Souls. I just get sucked in. I want to
Yeah,
play, do everything because there's so much to do and see, and the game is beautiful. and everything like that. So I'm very curious to dive into more of that, because they just released a whole bunch of new stuff, as well as like if you bought the season pass of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you got the remastered version of Assassin's Creed 3 for free, and I haven't even started that up. But which brings the
Time to
reason why
quit
I
your
brought up.
job.
Yeah, got to quit my job. I
Gotta
got
quit
to
your
pay the
job.
bills. Yeah, but there's one game that's speaking of that style of gameplay. One game that's has released that is really kind of caught my attention, but I have known nothing about it whatsoever. I've just watched a couple of trailers and a couple of reviews, and it's getting fantastic reviews. Is Greedfall. And
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know. I really don't know anything about this game. All I know is it's developed by the company Spiders, which I've never heard of. But it's a role playing action RPG, very much akin to the Assassin's Creed series, which is really up my alley. But the trailers I've seen really quick, like the motion capture looks on point, the acting looks on point, everything looks incredible, and it's a very in depth RPG from what I've read from a couple people just talking about like what's going on within the game itself. But it's just like it's interesting. It's a lot of character driven story action RPG. It's just like it's set in colonial times, that kind of stuff. I'm curious to see more about it, and I've heard nothing about it, the game, outside of like I know it's out. Like I haven't seen any advertising for it. I've heard nothing on YouTube, no reviews.
I haven't either,
Outside of
dude.
that.
This looks, and I mean, the reviews on it are everybody's saying that it's like an amazing submersive RPG, and that like it's one of the. I guess they kind of took the concept of Mass Effect, where like the conversations lead to serious consequences in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but yeah, it looks pretty rad. Some of the basic summary of it is it says explore uncharted new lands as you set foot on remote islands steeping with magic and filled with riches, lost secrets, and fantastic creatures. Forge this new world's destiny as you befriend or betray companions and entire factions. With diplomacy, deception, and force, become a part of a living, evolving world, influence its course, and shape your story. So you'll engage in a core role-playing experience, achieve quests, and complete objectives in a multitude of different ways through combat, diplomacy, deception, or stealth. Complete freedom in character progression, or you have complete freedom in character progression. Play as a male or female, customize your appearance, and freely choose your abilities, spells, and skills. Delve into a mysterious world of magic, begin a grand journey, and uncover ancient secrets protected by supernatural beings, manifestations of the island's earthly magic. This seems right up my alley
Yeah.
of games that I would love to put in sometime. And it's got a 7.9 on Metacritic, which is pretty good.
No, that's
I'd
really
say.
good. I'd say.
So, and I'm curious because I don't know anything about this game, and I'm like, okay, this came out of nowhere. And now I kind of like want to try it. So maybe I'll add it to my GameFly queue, pop it in, see how it plays. And the thing I love about GameFly is like I can just, I'm paying like I think like $8 a
15?
month.
Oh,
Yeah.
you took it
I
down to
had like
8?
I had like a coupon for like discounted year. So I just started it. So it's like I get two games that come out right now. Like I got World War Z that's out now, and then I have I think Plague's Tale Innocence coming to try that game out. But like like if I like it, I'll just hold on to it and play it, and then I'll like, hey, I want to buy this game. So you keep the game, and they send you the a box, like the game box, so that way you can like put it on your shelf if you want. So it's pretty cool. I like GameFly. We're not sponsored by GameFly yet, but yeah, I know nothing about this game. I want to know more about this game, so I'm very
I'm gonna have to
curious.
try this out.
Yeah, you can be my guinea pig and let me know what you think.
I'm watching the trailer as you're talking about it, and it looks like a lot of fun. I mean, it just looks like a very well crafted RPG set in colonial times, which is pretty cool because I like it when they mix up the art styles of games instead of it just being everybody with swords and shields. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this just seems like very like 1600s or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
It's very. I love that time period and that stuff. So
But
we'll
it's
see.
got that still that like you're using the words like ancient magic and things like that when you're in the description, but it kind of has this very there's a little bit of an allure around it. I'm definitely gonna check this out.
Yeah, it's definitely on my radar now, and definitely going to be giving it a go whenever I have free time, which is never. Maybe Christmas. Maybe Christmas. I'll just
Apparently
never leave my house.
oh wow, okay, so in the trailer it's showing some pretty cool stuff. Like somebody just got stabbed like 5 times, and then the next scene they're like about to get it on. So definitely
All right,
seems like there's blood and love in it. So must be a good
blood and
game.
love must be a good game. Yeah, I'll take it. So, another game that came out recently that I've heard a lot of good things about, and another thing that I heard nothing about, but I'm curious to see what it's all about is Control. Have you heard about that at all?
Oh no.
So Control is essentially like you are the I forget what it's like the director of like this a government agency, and with that, you have the mechanic of it is like you have one pistol that acts as like different things, so you can change it to like a shotgun or an assault rifle type stuff. But it's like one pistol you can kind of switch around, and then you have different abilities in the game that you switch up and you level up. It's another like action RPG type game, but it's more like third person, kind of like that game. Oh, what the fuck was that game? It was a Capcom game that kind of reminded me a little bit of the art style, and I thought it was interesting. I think it's a Capcom game, Control, but I could be wrong.
The graphics look incredible.
Yeah, it's gotten a lot of good reviews, and I've been really wanting to watch it or not watch it. I've been really wanting to play it, but I just have not had the time
The
to do
graphics
so.
look insanely incredible.
Yeah, so it has an 82 on Metacritic, which is also pretty good, but they say it's a high. A lot of people say it's a high quality action game with a pretty interesting story and all that sort of stuff. So but the user score is a 7.2. It's got 82 on Metacritic, but yeah, I'm another game that I'm interested to dive into, and I've heard a lot of good things. A lot of other good gaming podcasts that I listen to have played it, love it, and can't wait to play more. And I think they're coming out with some DLC with it soon. So
Yeah, they're selling what do you call it? The battle pass or whatever.
yeah, like season pass or
Season
something like that.
pass, yeah.
But yeah, but I mean, right now it's on sale right now. It's been out for I think a month or something like that. But it's like, all right, you can pick it up for $50. I put it on my wish list, and then I will go through and play it once it comes
It
out. It
looks
kind
like
of
it's on
reminds
sale here for
me,
35.
yeah, oh, it's just for PC or PlayStation.
Mm, Control Epic Games game key 35.56. Oh, that might
Yeah,
be a
it's a PC thing.
yeah.
But I always like playing games on console because of trophies. Trophies are a big thing for me, as
Mm-hmm.
well as I like playing it in my theater setup, which is one of the reasons why I built the theater setup is to kind of just be immersed in that, and then I lose hours upon hours of
It's
game
also
time.
nice. Like there's a different gaming experience of sitting your computer like attentive, and then there's a different experience like sprawled out on the couch, just like video games. Yes.
Yes, and then you have like everything around you, and you're like, oh, okay, or the dog will come down, or the wife will come down and just hang out and be like, yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward to Greedfall now that we talked about it like for a
I'm gonna
hot
try
second.
this out too. Yeah.
Greedfall, Control, and The Surge 2 are probably my most anticipated. Like, hey, I want to play these games that are out now or upcoming. I want to hear your thoughts. You said you had a couple games that are upcoming as well that you're looking forward to, and we still have a couple more to talk about. But
Yeah, I'm really excited about. It's. I mean, it's still 2 months away, but I'm really excited about Pokemon Sword and Shield. I mean, I know
ooh,
it's kind of
yes.
like a weird one, but I mean,
Well,
not weird, but as an adult, I don't know. Like,
oh, God,
I feel
fucking
like
nerd.
maybe I shouldn't like Pokemon anymore. But as a 35-year-old, or well, I turned 35 soon, but I'm super excited about it. I love Pokemon games. I mean, I thought Pokemon Go was, or not Go, but Pokemon
Let's go.
Pikachu. Let's
Yeah.
go. Yeah. I thought that was a fantastic game. I loved it. This is the first game I got on Switch. And so I'm super excited about that. I really want to play Link's Awakening. I just don't. I kind of, I mean, I say I want to wait until it goes on sale, but it's never going to go on sale.
It'll probably go
Uh,
on sale in like 5 years.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I think it looks great because I'm a huge fan of A Link to the Past. That was like one of my first games as a kid,
Hmm.
and I feel like it's that. Oh, I've watched a lot of people streaming it, and it looks like a straight up throwback to A Link to the Past, but with like that
Yeah.
modern, cartoony, cell shaded kind of graphical thing. And
Yeah, I don't know
the
how I
other game,
feel about that. That's that art style. I'm also looking forward to that, but I don't know. Like going back to how that art style feels. I don't know.
are you
I'm
talking
like
about Link or Pokemon?
Link.
Okay,
Pokemon is its own thing because like
yeah, it's
I don't know. I'm kind of I don't know. I'll probably end up playing it also when it goes on sale just because I don't have time for anything else.
yeah, yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, I'm also looking forward to a Link's Awakening. I'm sorry, no, is it Link to the Past or Link's Awakening?
Link's Awakening is the one that just came out.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
very excited
So the
for that.
other two upcoming ones, well, one of them is very far away. Comes out in March. Final Fantasy VII remake.
Ooh, yes.
Because they just did the trailer for that recently, and okay, I one thing I'm very excited about because I cannot stand button mashing games. I was really afraid because of what they did to 15 that they were going to do that to this as well, and they did. But it's actually more indicative of like where they want to take it. Did you ever play Final Fantasy Crisis Core on PSP by any chance?
I think so.
Okay,
That's the
so
one.
well, that's where they took, like, people are saying that they ripped off like X game, X game, X game. They straight up took the combat mode from Final Fantasy Crisis Core and turned it into a more robust version of it.
Hmm.
And the thing that I'm really excited about is they definitely said that people that are fans of the classic style of RPG where it's turn based, which I am
Yeah.
because that's what I like. That's what I grew up playing. That you can enable that. So that made me very excited because I was not looking forward to having to be like, oh, to like, execute commands. It's not the way I like to game, but extremely excited about it. That's probably my number one favorite game in my life, just because of the fact that I was like 10 years old when I bought it, and
Hmm.
probably the first game I really got like balls deep in, and I logged in like hundreds of hours in that game, and I'm super excited about it. It looks phenomenal. They kind of made it feel like, because as a kid, you're like reading everything, right? And it's like
Yeah.
the actions are kind of meh, meh. So your imagination is kind of like, drawing out this entire, scene in your head. And now I actually get to have that scenery come to life. And I think they're good. Like, from what I saw, they did a really, really, really good job of it.
Yeah, because the nostalgia is real, 100%. So they're like really playing off of that, but like in a modern sense. Because I don't know if it's the same for you, but like in my head, Final Fantasy VII is what the remake is going to be, and
Mhm.
Resident Evil 2, the remake, like playing Resident Evil 2, like the remake, like was my personified version of that, or my imagined version of that game in my head. So like, but made real. Like
Yeah.
I remember Resident Evil 2 as the remake.
Hmm.
Like that's how I remember playing that game. But you go back and play the game, it is not that way at all. It is fucking terrible.
When you're looking at it's because it's the art style, right? It's like you're looking top down, so your imagination is saying to yourself like, oh well, what is it like if I turn this way and I see a zombie there? But in the game, you just see your character right here, and he's kind of like pivoting this way.
Yeah.
So when you're actually like staring at Leon from like a bird's eye view, and you're like, or from the third person view, and you're like turn the corner and you see something, you're like, oh shit! It's that it
Yeah.
really brings it to life, and they nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I am also excited for Final Fantasy VII. I
Yeah.
didn't realize it's coming out in March, so
I think
that's
I'm pretty sure it's March, right?
something. It's something along. I know it's definitely next year, so it's
It's either
not. It's
March or April, or maybe I really don't want it to be May. But anyways, to sum it up, the last game that I'm really excited about is the Jedi Fallen Order.
yes. When is that release? That's
The same
soonish,
day
right?
as Pokemon Sword and Shield, November 25th.
All right.
Why are they
Interesting.
doing this to me, man? What am I supposed to do? What's a man supposed to do?
Supposed
I want to, wield a lightsaber and throw shit at people, but I also want to catch Pokemon. So, like,
to do both.
I mean, I will, but adulting, my friends, like, you know,
Yeah, that's true. That game I'm very much looking forward to. I'm not because of the storyline, but because Respawn's doing it. So I don't know if you've ever played Titanfall or
yeah,
Titanfall
yeah.
2. Like those games are insane.
Oh, that's the game studio that made the Jedi
Yeah,
Fallen Order.
yeah, Respawn. So they, obviously they did Apex Legends, that stuff. So
Oh, okay.
they have it. They really understand their multiplayer aspect of games,
Mm-hmm.
but people, I don't know if people really like paid attention or played much of the Titanfall storylines and how they can craft stories, and they're really good storytellers. And as somebody who's a filmmaker, like storytelling is my main thing. I love
Yeah.
storytelling, like I love that aspect of it. And they did a really fucking good job with telling those stories and like made you care about characters. So I'm really excited to play this game in the Star Wars universe because as your shirt shows, like everyone like I feel like you're as much of a Star Wars nerd as I am.
Oh, big
And I
time. Big
and
time.
I'm very much looking forward to this. And I feel like a lot of the Star Wars games that have come out have been just kind of like
Sucked.
meh.
No,
Yeah.
that's not. You don't even need to be that. They sucked.
Yeah.
A
And
lot
so
of
I
them.
I haven't really I don't think I've really felt a good connection with a good Star Wars
Since
character.
KOTOR.
I was literally about to say Knights of the Old Republic and
Yep.
KOTOR too. Like the reveal of Revan as you were
Mm.
Revan as the main character was probably one of the best reveals
Mm-hmm.
in a Star Wars universe ever. And the fact that like you could either be either good or bad or however you play that. Like I think I played it. I always play those types of game bad out the gate just because it's more fun. And then I go back and
Because
play it
they're always
good.
pre-designed for you to be the good guy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck the man, we're gonna try something
Yeah.
different.
Hell yeah.
and go with that. So I'm excited to see where they take this. The game mechanics look great. The graphics look intense. I like that it's more of a stealth action game than it's just
Yes.
guns blazing kind of thing. So
I literally, I cannot wait to like just pick something up, just be like, "Fuck you!" Like, I literally cannot wait, dude. Like that is the number one thing I want to do. Or maybe just like chuck my lightsaber at somebody and then just go beat him to death, and then just be like, "Oh, here, right back to my hand. All right, tight.
Yeah.
I like this."
If,
That's like my dreams as a child, dude. Like, come on.
yeah, if they have
Now
that
give me
same,
the VR version of that.
oh my goodness, yes. Which
Right?
speaking of the VR, they actually just released Darth Volume 2 for the Odyssey. Not the Odyssey, the Quest. I'm sorry, the Oculus Quest. So, which is like a Star Wars VR game. I didn't play the first one because when it came out, it was like $35. I'm like, I'm not
Yeah, I
paying
can't do
35
VR.
bucks
It
for
makes
that.
me vomit, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have every VR system that's out there because I work in VR, so
Oh,
I have to.
Yeah.
And I also get queasy, but like I can only play for like an hour at a time, unless it's Beat Saber. Then I can play that game for like 4 hours. It's great. That
I
was my
wish,
workout
man.
for a long time.
Really?
Beat Saber. Yeah, because like you burn like 700, 800 calories an hour playing that game.
I can see because you gotta like actually like get low and get up and do stuff, right? That's pretty. The only VR game I ever saw that made me want to play it, I think, was called like Blade and Sorcery or something like that.
Yes, because they have a Star Wars mod.
No.
Yeah, dude.
I might have to just like neutralize a zone in my house where I can, because I tried VR one time and I just like involuntarily threw up and I was like, no, like why? This has like been my dream, dude. Like, why are you doing this to me?
Yeah, Blade and Sorcery is the game that has made a lot of people mod it and whatnot. But so essentially, it's like you're a gladiator in a gladiator zone area, and like you had that action of like going through whatever. But somebody made a Star Wars mod, and I'll send you a couple of links because they did one recently that was amazing, where it's like you can like turn on and off the saber, and like someone like went to go like feign and like turned it off like as like a NPC was swinging through and like turned it on like after the flash and like stuck the guy in the head, dude. So good. But
this is gonna make me have to go out and buy a VR headset just for that. Like I okay. Anyways,
I will report back and let you know how it is because I have Sword and Sorcery. I haven't loaded up in a while, but apparently they're coming out. So a quick tangent on VR. A lot of people are pissed because the Oculus came out with the Rift S, and they also came out with the Quest. The Quest is the standalone system, not as good, but it allows you just to put on the VR and take it anywhere and not have to worry about like a computer or anything. That's a standalone system. It's what I use a lot on set, not on set, but on the go, I should say. And it's a great way to have like a VR experience or show people VR and not have to worry about like dragging a computer or a laptop around with you. It's a great set. The Quest is more of their high powered, like, hey, you're going to sit at home, you're going to play this at your PC, you're going to connect to it, you're going to have like, you don't need sensors, it's just the sensors are in the headset, that kind of thing. They recently announced the Oculus Link, which will allow you to plug in a USB-C cable to your computer and then plug it into your Quest and use your Quest as a Rift S quality system. So like you can now play all your PC games from your Quest or from your your Oculus library into your Quest without having to buy a Rift S, which a lot of people are fucking pissed about, which I would be too if I had bought a Rift S. I did not. I went with the more expensive, the Valve one. I don't remember the Index one. That's what happens. But I'm curious to see what they do, like how that plays out and how that works. I'm sure there's going to be like a quality hit or anything like that. And they're also touting the thing where like the Quest will all of a sudden, or in the future, where you don't need controllers. You can just put the headset on and use your hands as controllers, which is fucking wild.
Man, you know what? Just go ahead and knock me out and wake me up when they can just like plug it into my brain and I'm just like in the game, Like I'm like, have you ever watched Sword Art Online before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me that in real life, please. Thank you. Except the whole part about like, if you die in the game, you die in real life. That's the only part I'm not down with.
Yeah. That's not as fun. But it can be,
especially if it was a Dark Souls game. We'd all be dead real fast.
I turned the corner.
I'd be dead in the starting zone, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone becomes
2%, 1% of the world survives.
Hey, that's how we get through all of the
Natural selection.
natural selection. Yeah, exactly. But
Turn life into one big Dark Souls simulator.
if you survive, you win, and then all the gamers will
That's
be like, all the neck beards will be out. You'll be good to
yeah,
go.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, the real quality of life individuals.
Yeah. So so I'm looking forward to all of those things, and I'll report back with how this sword and sorcery thing is. But I'm excited
Yes,
for that.
please do.
Two things that have come out recently or in beta and open beta last weekend was the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare game. Looks pretty good. I played maybe an hour of the online matchmaking. It still feels like Call of Duty. I like Call of Duty a little bit. I used to be really big competitive with it. Like 10 years ago, I can't do it anymore. So I don't
It's
know
for
if you
kids,
feel the
man.
same.
It's for
Yeah.
kids and people that are too angry.
But I always want to like pick up because the storylines are always good. Like the single player game, the storylines are always pretty fantastic, and I've always enjoyed them. But like I always want to pick them up on sale. But because of the multiplayer aspect is so like such a community and makes so much fucking money off the multiplayer, you can
Mm-hmm.
never get them on sale. And like I have no interest in playing multiplayer. I just want to play the story.
Yeah,
So which is
I feel
frustrating.
like you should. I feel like you should be able to pay like half the price for a single player only version.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that would be, hey,
Hey,
Activision, make that happen.
I actually wonder if they sat down and they like ran the numbers of, determining who actually buys the game just to play it and who buys it for the online feature. If there was like a whole like target audience of people that they're missing out on,
Well,
which they probably have thought
that's the
about
whole
that,
point
but
of Black Ops. That's literally the whole point of Black Ops. That game is multiplayer only. There's no storyline.
oh, okay.
So that's literally what they did, but and they still charge full price for the game
Yeah.
because I believe that.
In my opinion, they should have just made Call of Duty Zombies Edition and released that on its own, an entire series of that.
Yeah, but we'll let's see what happens with that. I mean, Modern Warfare is my favorite of the series. So
Is that the one
I
that I
don't,
see everybody on Twitch playing now? Because I noticed that there, dude, I can't keep up with it. There's always like a new, uh, you know, military style first person shooter that everybody's playing, and I've noticed
yeah.
lately that there's like a new one that everybody's been hitting up.
That is one of them, as well as I think because it comes out in November. So, but the open beta was last weekend, so that might have been what you've seen.
Okay, yep, that's probably it then.
And then the other one that I'm actually kind of interested in because I never really played the original. I never played Wildlands. Is the new Ghost Recon Breakpoint is in beta, open beta right now, which I'm actually going to try out because I just downloaded it last night because it's that kind of thing. It's that I was never a big Ghost Recon fan, but I love Ubisoft as a developer. So
Mm-hmm.
like I'm happy to give them money because I feel like they're out of all the big conglomerates that are out there doing things in the video game industry, I feel like they're one of the ones who are doing things right by their community. And like
Yeah, I can
they
see
still
that.
offer microtransactions, but they're not like overly microtransactiony. So
They're not pay to win. They're kind of more like cosmetics and things like that.
exactly. So like, hey, if you want to support us or doing things like, hey, if you buy a season pass for, Assassin's Creed, we'll give you this free game, that kind of thing. Like you get your money's
Yeah,
worth out of it 100%.
yeah. I've never really, I myself am not a fan of those series, but I guess for me, like I think of like army veterans and things like that,
Yeah.
guys that are like real military heads, and they probably like get on those games, and it gives them like a real outlet to kind of explore. I don't want to say it's a hobby, but that's their livelihood in a sense that
Yeah.
gets turned into a hobby.
You get to connect, they connect with it a little bit more realistically or,
Yeah,
personally and whatnot. So
it's a
like,
very
I totally
team
understand.
oriented game, in my opinion, like
It is.
super team oriented.
Yeah. And I haven't really expressed or I haven't really seen much in terms of that gameplay, but like I wanted to try, I've been wanting to try out Wildlands forever because I love, um, I really enjoyed the fuck, what's the game series called? They have like a million different versions of them. They had one that was like Primal, one that was just recently with the rednecks. I'm trying to think of it. Um, it's Ubisoft
Something with
too.
the rednecks.
Yeah, it was like
Hold on, let me Google that game with the new game with the
you're
rednecks.
gonna see it pop
Hold
up.
on,
I'm gonna.
new game with the rednecks.
It came out like a year ago. Essentially, is what it was.
Immortal Redneck Rampage.
Uh, no, it's oh my god, I can't believe I'm completely blanking on the name. Far Cry is what I was
Oh,
thinking of.
Far Cry. Okay, oh,
I really,
with the rednecks, man.
yeah,
I'm in Tennessee. Come on, man.
I mean, it was
Calling
like
out my
a
people.
It was like I'm from Southern Maryland, not Southern Maryland, but I'm from Maryland, which is technically still in the South. So
True, true,
it,
true,
it
true.
happens as
We're the
well.
necks of redness.
Yeah. But I'm curious to see what they do with that, as well as coming out with Watch Dogs Legion in March. I don't know how I feel about that because no, I'll have to see some gameplay of Watch Dogs Legion to see if I'm
Watch
going to
Dogs
be
was a
intrigued.
game that I bought, and I thought it was going to be amazing, and then all I thought was like, this is like a half-ass Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, exactly, which is like hacking and thrown in as like an afterthought for the most part.
Yes. Yeah.
But and then a new game that's coming out soon, TM. I think that's coming, I believe, in November, which is an old classic. Which I don't know if you ever played Castle Crashers at all. Did you ever play that game?
I played it, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
very briefly, but
that I feel like is a good like couch multiplayer game where you can play with a lot of friends. I might pick it
yeah.
up so my wife and I can play together because I feel it's more her style of gaming and the ability to play, without much stress and whatnot. And it's cute
Yeah.
art style. It's fun. It's just entertaining as shit.
I
So
find the games like that are really good if you're into like game nights and stuff
yeah,
along those lines, because they aren't serious. It's less serious than something like Smash, because Smash has a lot of uh, technical stuff you can do in it. You always go to a party and there's that one dude that plays it way too much, or chick, and they just beat the crap at everybody. And it's like, but this game, it's a lot more whimsical. I want to say cheeky,
yeah,
maybe.
very whimsical. I would say it came out in 2008. It's kind of crazy. It's been out for 11 years, but it's out now apparently on PlayStation 4 and Switch. So you can get it. You can pick it up now if you really want to enjoy the nostalgia that is Castle Crashers. And I think it's only $15. So it's priced appropriately, in my opinion. So, but before we get to the main game that's upcoming, I wanted to hear your thoughts and opinions on some hands-on review of the Switch Lite, because I also had some hands-on review and I was very pleased by what I saw, and I thought that Nintendo has done it yet again and kind of has pushed out the 3DS, in my opinion, with the new handheld device
Do you
market.
like it?
I do like the Switch Lite. I don't know that I would buy one because I like the bigger screen of the Switch
Yes.
personally.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously I think it's like a 4.5-inch screen or something like
Yeah,
that,
I
as
don't even
opposed
think it's
to a
that big to
7-inch.
begin with.
Yeah, I mean it's the size of like a 6-inch Subway hoagie,
Hmm.
essentially is what it is, and it's for what it does for $200. I mean, you can't take the controllers off, but you can pair the other controllers if you want. So if you get a Switch Lite and a Pro controller, granted, Pro controller it's like $65, which is crazy,
It's
but
absurd.
it's definitely for somebody who wants to be just on the go all the time and doesn't want to deal with the Switch, which the price of the Switch for $350 or whatever it is still now, for $200 you get everything that the Switch Lite does, or what that the Switch does, with the exception of plugging it into a TV
So you
for
can't do that. You do not have
cannot
that
dock it.
option.
No, it is
Okay.
on the go only. But I think for what you get for it, like a friend of mine or my second AC on my job doesn't have a TV. Like he just plays stuff on the go. So like he watches stuff on his
That's
phone, on
so
his
interesting to
Wi-Fi.
me.
Well, it's New York life, right? You don't have
Yeah,
room
I
for it.
guess so.
So,
Yeah.
but like he doesn't have a TV, so he doesn't really like want to. He doesn't want a game on a TV because he doesn't want to go buy a TV and get that. So like he's like, oh, this is perfect for me. He just sits there and plays on his Switch Lite, and yeah, that's what he just does. And that's how I got a little bit of hands-on stuff. So it still feels like it could use some hardware upgrades. I feel like, because it's only 720p as opposed to 1080 from before because of the
Yeah.
screen and everything like that. And but apparently the battery life is a lot better, which is, I think it'll
Supposed to be, I think,
do,
like 8 to 10 hours longer. I
yeah,
think. Yeah.
I think just not longer. I think just 8 to 10 hours, because I think the Switch right now is like 5 to 6 or something like that. But or maybe it is longer. I don't know.
I'm bad, man. I've had a Switch for a year and I only use it docked. Like I'm blind, man. Like I hate. That's why like I can't play things on my phone. I have an iPad, like, and I have a big iPad too, because
Yeah,
like I don't know. I'm nearsighted, so that's my only thing. Like I never bought a 3DS. I waited until the 3DS XL came out, because like I
yeah,
just have to. I'm that guy that just need. And it's not even about having the bigger, better product. It's about like I just can't see shit on a small device.
yeah,
But I didn't know that the price was smaller. That makes me think that like that actually caters towards people like your friend, and I think it's actually better for kids, in my
yeah.
opinion. because that is a large target audience for the Switch. And you know, I see, like, I have a friend of mine, his kid, like, he's always so, like, nervous giving the Switch to his kid because he's always like, don't drop it or no. It's like, maybe you don't feel as, scared that they're going to mess it up if you give them the smaller, less expensive one. And, I can see that.
Yeah. And for that price point, I just think it's just a
I didn't know it was
perfect
only
price.
200.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's actually,
$200.
that's amazing, actually.
Yeah. The fact that they were able to get it that low and be
Yeah.
able to,
Because 350 is not cheap, man. I mean,
it's not cheap.
it's worth it. It is 100% worth it, but it ain't cheap.
Yeah. But if you like, by the time you get like a case and a screen protector and all that sort of stuff, and like maybe
And
some
each one
extra
of the
controllers.
Oh, and you want to play Breath of the Wild? That's been out since like 2 years plus. Yep, fork out $60, bud. It's still full price. Like all their top games, they didn't cut the price on any of them, so
Yeah. I
it
mean,
adds up.
that's how Nintendo's made their, Nintendo's gonna Nintendo. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. But
And you know what's
yeah.
funny? I have a friend of mine that works for Nintendo, like, and he's not just a developer. Like
Mhm.
he has a very good position there. We have a lot of talks about like Nintendo as a company, and I'll straight up ask him, I'm like, dude, I love your product. Like, I love it. However, how the hell are we in 2019 and you guys still don't know how to do online play with most of your games? And his response to it is that they're a gaming company, or they don't provide like an online experience, and it's not a focus for Nintendo. And I was just
Hmm.
like, dude, how are you going to sit there and tell me that I can buy Mario Party but I can't play it with my homie, like,
Yeah.
that lives in Alabama? Like, what's the point of selling these like great party oriented driven games, but I can't play them online with people over in other parts of the world? And apparently it's not important to them.
Yeah. That's unfortunate
I
because
think so too, dude. It's
it
so
has so much
unfortunate.
potential, and like I feel like they would have way more sales of their things if you could, like, if they advertise like, hey, you can play Mario Party at home, or you can play it, with your friend down the street, or you can play with somebody in Japan. That'd be fun.
It's Mario
Definitely
Party. It has the word
party.
party. Like, who wants to buy Mario Party and sit at home and play by themselves? The saddest shit I've ever heard in my life, dude. Like,
I'm sure there's people who'd be like, "Oh, this is great. I have everything unlocked in Mario Party." And so, like, when they have like one friend come over and they're like, "Hey, do you want to play Mario Party?" No, I don't. Let's just watch TV. Oh, okay. All that
oh,
time for nothing.
okay.
All that time for nothing. But and getting to the final and main aspect of the show, even though we're like an hour plus in at this point, The Last of Us 2 was finally announced with a release date of February 21st in 2020. I don't know about yourself, but I instantly pre-ordered that shit.
I didn't pre-order
And
yet, but the
uh,
Last of Us one was
The Last of Us 1, I
excellent.
wanted it was yeah. So Last of Us. If you've never played The Last of Us, what are you doing with your life? Stop this. Stop listening right now. Go buy it on Amazon or your local GameStop. Because they're going to be out of business real soon. And then go and play that game with the remastered version. Or if you want to be OG and play it on PlayStation 3, which is where I played it originally. It was, man. There's nothing wrong with that game, in my opinion. How do I explain this to people? So my boss, my cinematographer, my show is also a gamer, and she's a PlayStation fanatic as well. And so I was like, "Hey, did you hear about The Last of Us 2 getting announced?" She's like, "No, what's The Last of Us?" I'm like, "How? Who? What?" I was like, "Okay, I know what I'm going to buy you. I'm going to get The Last of Us remastered for you." That game is such a cinematic masterpiece. It's such a story masterpiece. The gameplay is insane. The
Mhm.
environments are next worldly. Like, that game set the standard for games going forward. And it was on the PS3. It wasn't even on the PS4. So it came out 10 years ago, and it had such an impact on me personally with storytelling and filmmaking and how you can tell these types of stories. And like all these games that are out now that have like these conversations like as you're walking around the world, like with God of War and Uncharted, even though Uncharted's the same what's it called, the same developer with Naughty Dog. Like, The Last of Us is like, it's just the pinnacle of storytelling, in my opinion, for video games. It's like, that is my number one all-time favorite game aside from Assassin's Creed 2.
Wow, really?
So, yes.
That's a
The
strong endorsement.
That is like, well, because they did everything so right in that game. Like they had a multiplayer aspect of the game. I don't know if you play the multiplayer
I
on
have,
it,
yeah. No, and it was
and
really good.
it's that survival mentality of, hey, you're starting the game, you have 4 bullets in your revolver, and like you have to be, it's
Survive.
yeah, you have to survive, you have to craft, you have to like run up to people, you have to make smart decisions, you have to play as a team. Like you can't just run around and like try to shoot people because you'll quickly fail because it's just there's so much about that game
Quickly.
that was just yeah, there's just so much about that
Just like
game
I
that was
did
fantastic.
the very first couple times I got into it.
Yeah, you're like, oh
Oh,
yeah,
there's something there. Boom, 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 boom. Wait a minute. What?
click
That's
click
it?
click, what?
What?
Yeah.
Where, Michael, where do I get more ammo? Should have used them all up, you idiot. Like,
Respawn, die, try again. But it's just I don't know, that game is such a staple for me in my video game life, and it actually kind of makes me want to like boot it back up to play it again. But
I
so
think it's
I'm
pretty
very
cheap
excited.
too, right? Like
It's
something like 20.
$14, and it's
Yeah.
on one of PlayStation's greatest hits, so you can get it for under 20 or 20 or under. But they constantly have sales on it all the time. But I'm very excited for The Last of Us 2. I'm giving myself a blackout, so I'm not, outside of just hearing that it was officially announced. I'm not watching any gameplay. I'm not watching any trailers. I'm not getting myself psyched up for it. I just want to. I just pre-ordered it.
You
I
just
want
want
it
to
to
live the
arrive,
experience.
and I just want to fucking play it. Exactly.
Okay. Well, note to self: don't throw any
You can if you want, but I'm not going to
spoilers
actively.
at you.
I'm going to actively go and play it. I'm not going to go actively like seek stuff out. Like we're going to talk about it. We'll probably like when the game comes out, we're definitely going to talk about it. But I'm not going to go and it's kind of like with all like the Star Wars movies. I don't want like outside of like if I'm at a movie theater and I see the trailer for it, great. I'm not going to go and seek it out because I don't want to psych myself up for it
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I just want to experience the movie as it is. I don't want to be waiting for moments that I know are coming or anything like that. I just want to like enjoy it as is, and and especially in our world of instant gratification with everything, I like kind of like that surprise and those moments of like, oh my god, like this is how it is. Until like I get super frustrated with multiplayer, it's like, how the fuck do I play this game? And then I have to go and look it up. But I'm very excited for The Last of Us 2, and I just cannot wait, man. I'm so stoked. I'm like almost. I mean, it's September. It's like almost October, so we
I know.
still
You
have
know what
four
I
more
hate
months.
about this, dude?
So
Is they gotta do things like be like, oh, this game that you are so excited to play, it comes out February 21st. God, like I gotta wait till then.
yeah, I gotta wait 5 months to play this game. Oh
Why?
man.
Why? What if the world ends on February 20th?
Oh yeah. It's just like what? Yeah, that would. Oh man, that would be no bueno. What if I get hit by a
Sorry, that was
bus in
very
New York?
grim, but I just
That was.
yeah. So that's
That's
just
okay. But I'm very excited for it. I'm gonna try my best to like not watch any trailers or anything like that. Even though I saw like the announcement trailer that they had, I was like, oh, what is this? Oh, God, turn it off. But it looks dark. It looks grim. It looks very, man. It just looks so goddamn good, and I'm very excited to see what Ellie does in her world now that she's grown up and she's been a part of this world, and that now that she's kind of like not necessarily a famous person, but like now that she had that people know who she is. So, and that
yeah,
she's
yeah.
one of the
You're
only
you're
people
you're
who can survive.
fanboying over this, man.
Dude, hard.
You
Like I
better
don't
you
fan.
better you better live stream it, dude, because people like you that are like super passionate about games, those are the people that I like to watch play a game because I can't stand these like 10K Andes where they got like, they play a game just because it's what's popular and they don't really care about the game. But then there's people like you that are like, I fucking love this game. Like
Yeah,
those are the kind of people I like to watch personally.
yeah. Well, that's. I mean, I definitely am gonna stream the shit out of it, and I'm very, very excited for it. And yeah, so it comes out February 21st.
Mark your
Uh,
calendars, people.
I will. I'm almost actually. I'm gonna look at my calendar. My boss doesn't listen to this, so it's okay. I actually might take off that weekend. Like I might like it'll like I'll work that Friday, then I might take a long weekend.
I got a
I'm not
little
feeling so good,
got a little cough coming on, boss. Sorry.
but
I don't
yeah.
want. I don't want to get the actors and actresses sick. I think I might have strep. I might need like 2-3 days off.
Yeah, exactly. I might need the weekend plus a day. So, but
That's
yeah, man.
okay. Or two.
3 days, man. 3 days.
Yeah,
It's
it's a long weekend. You get a lot of
worth
time out of that.
worthwhile 100%. So
Your wife won't hate you too much for holding in your gaming
No,
room. And
as long as I clean up after myself, as long as I do my chores around the house, she's fine.
your
That's important.
chores.
It's important to have
You gotta
those
have
sort of things.
boundaries, right?
Yeah, boundaries, and you got to have like you got to be responsible. That's the thing about
Absolutely.
gaming at an older age. Like you got to be responsible. You do everything yourself. Do your workout. Do your everything that you need to do, and then sit down and play. Because if you don't, then everything else piles up, and you get stressed out, and everything else it just doesn't work. So,
Mm-hmm.
but other than that, anything else coming out that you are also looking forward to? Anything else you want to talk about game wise?
I feel like I've talked my head off.
Yeah, I know. I still need to level up more on World of Warcraft Classic. It's funny that you and I are both on the same server
That is.
unintentionally.
That is.
So,
I'm gonna throw this out there. You know why? Do you know why I like Bigglesworth so much?
is it because of Austin Powers?
Well, no, but that was part of it. I mean, to me, it was like a cheeky name, but like there is a very large community of individuals that partake in certain smokable green. Yeah, there's a lot of potheads on the server, and
Sure.
the thing that cracks me up is that they're all like the same age as I don't know. I think you're in the same age group as me, but
Yeah,
I'm
I'm 34.
34, and it's like reconvening with a lot of people from my childhood, or just like connecting with people that like are on the same wavelength as me. I don't know, dude. I just have made so many friends on that game already, and I, I never had that experience playing. The very first time I played World of Warcraft, it was like a solo ass adventure, man. Like I did
Yeah.
everything on my own. But in this game, it's like there's people everywhere, and there are just people always trying to help out. I love killing the Alliance. I live for it, dude. Like I really do. I'm in a couple Facebook groups, and on a daily basis, anybody that posts anything about the Alliance, I make sure to let them know that I think anybody that plays the Alliance is scum in real life. And
All right,
jokingly. I mean, just
but not really.
no, not really, but I don't know. I love it, dude. It has rekindled a very uh, I love that game. World of Warcraft is a very special game, man, and it's a great experience because it's just already weeded out a lot of the casuals and the people that don't really want to play it. And
Hmm.
now you're left with, a very large community of people that just love World of Warcraft for what it is, and not this, over glorified. I can get, from 1 to 125 in a matter of minutes, and go and do the dungeon finder, and I can get all the purple gear, and, the first day that I make my character. And that's just not what World of Warcraft was when I got it in 2004. So um, it's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to diving back into it. I think I'm like level 9 or 10, something like that at this point. So it's just funny
It's a
to see.
grind, man.
Dude, it's such ground. I finally
It's
just
a grind.
added some add-ons just because I was like, I'm going to play this game classic. I'm not going to add any add-ons. And then I got to like level 6, like, where the fuck do I go for quests? Like, where's the little like map thing? I
Where's
was
the
like, oh my god.
exclamation mark?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. I got to add some added questy, good to go.
Yeah,
So, but
there's nothing wrong with that, man. Like some people, there's like a big debate. People say that they're not truly playing classic if they use add-ons, but man, in my opinion, like, get over yourself. That's what I say to people like that. I mean,
yeah,
the
I mean,
purists.
they can play that way, but like,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's just the classic rules. That's all it is. It's not like they're not. It's not all the other stuff. I'm just curious to see. So I'm playing an orc rogue,
Yeah.
like how I played the game when I first played it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go mace spec because of
Ooh.
stun lock for the win was that was the
Yes.
big thing that people forgot about. I don't know if that's still good, but like at least back in the day, that's how I used to do things, and I used to wreck people that way. And I guess people
So can I give you a
forget.
quick? Can I give you a quick World of Warcraft story for you, real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So my two friends and I, which actually were I'm playing a holy priest. We're level 48. My other friend plays a mage, and the other guy's a warrior tank, right? Well, he's fury or whatever, or arms. So the three of us were leveling in Tanaris last Sunday, and we basically just like got bored, and we just rode around on our mounts and just killed a lot of allies for like probably 2 hours straight. And soon enough, like, we get this call in all chat. It's like, hey, there's 7 allies over in this pirate area. So we're like, oh, on the way. So we ride out to the pirate camp. We kill all of the allies. Like, I mean, dude, we killed them all probably because I mean, I don't know what it is, man. They just like can't take us down. I don't know if it's because we have a perfect trio where like I can heal. We have CC. We got a Fury Warrior. So like we just mow people down. So within like an hour of just slaying allies and doing quests out here, we notice a level 60 rolling up on us, and we're like, oh shit, like here it comes, dude. We destroyed this guy. And like all we can think about is this dude sitting there, like he probably got the call in the all chat, like, oh, these hordes are camping us. And he's like, oh, I got this, kids. Sit back. Comes out there, gets trashed, dude. I love World of Warcraft for that reason alone, man. Like it's just something about it. It's something satisfying about some little shithead coming out there trying to save his boys' lives, and we're just like, nah. I don't know. It's just I can't wait for Phase 3 to come out because that's when they're going to do the battlegrounds. And
oh man, yeah.
I can't. I don't, dude. I gotta be honest with you, Vash. I was so excited to go to Molten Core and Blackwing Lair and all this shit. I don't even care about it anymore. I just want to do the battlegrounds. I want to do some 10 versus 10, capture the flag. I can't wait. I can't wait. It's gonna be so much fun.
I can't do the Molten Core because I spent way too many like hours and days and doing all those raids, man. I just like, and I loved when I played the game. I played Arena and I played Battlegrounds is what I played. So I'm with you. That's why I'm going Mace Spec. So with my this is like you can just with a Mace Spec Rogue, man. Like you have like full evasion when you pop your evasion thing. Like people can't touch you, and you just like have a chance to stun on basic attack, man. I was just wrecking people.
Oh, and you still will.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So, you hit me up, we'll roll around. Priest Rogue, baby. They'll come at me thinking like, oh, look at this priest just chilling by himself. Oh, wait, what's this? I'm getting stun locked by a rogue with maces? What do I do? And I'm over there just like, oh, smite, die, bitch.
That'll be a good time. So I'm looking forward to it. I just got to get more time into it. I try to log like maybe an hour. I'll try to use up my rest XP every time I log on, and then I just go rest up again and good to go.
But that's the great thing about Classic, homie, is that like there's no rush. There is zero rush to get to 60 because once you're there, you're there. They're not going to, with this server, like they have made zero commentary about, they got this idea from EverQuest. Have you ever played EverQuest before?
Oh yeah, I played EverQuest and Dark Age Camelot. So
I was a huge EQ player back in the day. It's part of the reason why I flunked out of college when I was 19. I rated way too much. Okay, so then like flash forward, I would say like I was like having a midlife crisis. I quit my job as a chef. I was waiting to go to programming school, and they rolled out with a progression server. I read about it and I'm like, what is this? Oh, you can start out in vanilla EverQuest, and every 3 months they release an expansion. Oh my god, I fell in love with it because like it got to like relive these like expansions that I never got to experience because I came in during Planes of Power, which was like 3 or 4 years into the game, and it kind of changed it big time. So with this, I'm really hoping that they eventually open their eyes to seeing how successful this is and eventually roll it out like that. But for now, like I don't see them doing that. And even if they do, they're going to have to do it as like a completely different server on its own. Because people are going to be like, I didn't sign up for this, And I mean, it's Classic. You got time.
Yeah, got plenty of time. I'm not going anywhere. I'm stuck on the show for the next 6 months, so I have plenty of time just to chill and play and do whatever. So it'll be a good time. So, or 6.5 months, I should say. Wow, that's kind of crazy to think about. Anyway, you can catch FBI on CBS at 9 p.m. on Tuesdays. Check that out.
Oh, it's actually not a bad show, man. My dad really likes it.
That's literally all of my my uncle texted me, my mom texted me, my dad was like, I really like the show. I'm like, great, awesome. I'm in the middle of filming it right now. I have to go. Bye. That's how it goes. But anyway, Chef, thanks so much for coming and filling in for Dom this week.
Thanks for having me, man.
You can catch Chef streaming Saturday mornings at twitch.tv/ChefCrondo. There'll be a link in the description below. And you stream Marvel Strike Force on the regular for the most part, right? You don't do any other streaming? Or
Yeah, but I'm recently kind of bad week. I had a falling out with my one of my co-hosts, I guess you could say. So I'm still planning on doing it, but I actually really want to get into streaming more other games, like I want to get into doing more Dark Souls, some like skill oriented games, because I think people like watching me get pissed off and
destroyed.
Yeah, they really do. Like I lost like 180,000 souls the other day, and I had a breakdown, and people were just like rolling laughing at me because
passionate dude, man. You find that niche, you just go with it, man. If that's your thing, that's your thing. Fucking go with it.
I might have a heart attack by the time I'm 40. I might have a heart attack in the next few years, but if people are entertained, then it was worth it.
It's 100% worth it. So anyway, you can catch, that's twitch.tv/ChefCrondo. We'll put the link in the description below.
Yeah.
You can check us out. I totally didn't even do our socials at the beginning. Don normally catches me for that, but you can find us on Instagram at og.podcast. Our Twitter is overachieversp. Our website, beanoverachiever.com, where you can get this episode and every other episode. And plus, you can hear us talk about Marvel Strike Force if you want to. We try to not really talk about it in our main program because we do the MSF Insider, because that's where we go to bitch and complain about the game that we're playing all the time. So much shit happened recently. I can't wait to talk about that next week. And yeah, man, thanks so much. And you can, I don't know where I'm going with that. It's the end of the show. Bye.
Yo, by the way, I meant to tell you. Remember how we were talking about Resident Evil 2?
Yeah.
Right there.
Nice. OG, man.
Yeah, I've got I actually have I went and got my whole collection from my parents' house the other day. I've got I got them all over here. I don't know. I wish I had a better way to display them behind me, but yeah.
Yeah. All my stuff is, I don't know if I can actually show it on my screen, but all my stuff's right back here.
So. Yeah, you've got the setup that I'm looking to get someday. So yeah, that's legit.
Oh god. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh yeah, with the lint roller too. Got to have
the lint roller. Yeah.
Oh, you got the drums back there for the rock band.
Yep. Got to.
Word. That's great, man. I appreciate you bringing me on.
Of course, dude. Thanks for coming on. Hopefully, maybe in the future, if myself or Dami can't make one, we'll definitely have you back on if you want. We just love talking about gaming and shit. So that's the whole point.
Yeah, man. Anytime you want me around, man, you just hit me up.
Word.
I don't do shit on the weekends. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I really don't. I mean, I just started a private chef business, and most of my work is during the weekdays. So,
getting back into it, huh?
I had some offers that I just, I've been trying to get into web development for 2 years. Nothing works out. Everybody tells me I'm too much of a brash individual for tech, and it's kind of true. I kind of just don't have a filter when people want to be like, hey, we want to sit down and have a meeting to talk about this, and I'm like, just fucking say it, dude. Why we gotta have a meeting, because it's chef shit,
Yeah.
So I had all these people offer for me to do these really expensive parties, and I'm like, I like money, so
yeah, helps feed the Marvel Strike Force goal.
Yeah, my alliance fell apart this week. I didn't want to talk about it on there, but yeah, it did.
A few other people's alliances fell apart. We're actually facing an alliance that had fallen apart in war right now. It's literally, they had not taken a single attack.
Damn. Yeah, I slept in last Sunday. I have sleeping problems, and I just randomly slept in, and I was about to miss U6 by 10 minutes, and people flipped out, and I was like, listen guys, I don't fucking care. It's U6, shut the fuck up, and yeah, people were not happy, and they're like, fuck this, I'm gonna go somewhere where the leader cares about the game. And I'm like, dude, if you're gonna get mad at me, it's 9:30 on a Sunday morning. If you're gonna get mad at me for sleeping at 9:30 on a Sunday, fuck you. Come on, dude.
Jesus
really?
Christ.
Yeah. So, anyways,
fun.
Yeah, I know, right? We're adults, man. You're really gonna get mad at me about that? So many more things to get mad about people.